Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the day. We're going back into r/Tales of Neckbeard, and if you guys would like to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, because the engagement really does help out the videos, especially with these longer format ones, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. Adam, the neckbeard I go to college with. This is the story of a neckbeard that I go to college with. I made a Reddit account just to write this because I refuse to let this story go untold. This neckbeard is a junior this year studying civil engineering. The events of this story are still happening since we are still in college. I'll call our neckbeard Adam, not his real name. Adam's weirdness, creepiness, and foul smell are well known among our year at the college. It's a relatively small school, so even if you don't know Adam personally, there's a good chance you've at least heard stories of him. There's another person on campus with the same name, so people call them Good Adam, and the neckbeard Bad Adam. On and off chance someone from my school reads this, they'll immediately recognize who this story is about, so I'll try not to identify myself if possible. Adam doesn't really look like a typical neckbeard. He's not fat, in fact he's quite skinny. He is very out of shape though, so much so that walking up a flight of stairs gets him noticeably out of breath. Adam has short black hair and a thick beard, which seems to connect right down to his chest hair. Adam doesn't dress like a neckbeard at all though. He's hardly the forefront of fashion, but the clothes he wears are in no way out of the ordinary. He just usually wears jeans, a t-shirt, sneakers, and a sweatshirt or jacket when it's cold. What certainly is out of the ordinary is Adam's smell. He smells like awful BO and unwashed ass. Adam's smells literally lingers on the air in places he has been. It's so bad that someone on campus nicknamed Adam, he who does not wash. Adam is studying engineering, and he's made it to his junior year, so he's at least moderately intelligent. Adam genuinely does know a lot about some topics, but he considers himself far more intelligent than he is, and will talk out of his ass about anything and everything if given the chance. In most cases, it's very obvious that he is completely making everything up. Adam was raised Jewish and considers himself an observant Jew. He is extremely interested in Judaism and the country of Israel, and can often be found talking about both subjects to everyone he is with. Before I start telling more about the tales of Adam, I think I need to establish the characters that will be relevant in this story. All of the names I used in the story are fake, by the way. Matthew was Adam's friend from freshman year. He is also an observant Jew, but unlike Adam, he never rubbed his religious views in everyone's face. In fact, besides being Jewish, he and Adam had basically nothing in common. Matthew was very friendly and outgoing. He liked running and going to the gym, and his hygiene was perfectly fine. Steve was a friend of Matthew's, and then by proxy, a friend of Adam. Steve and Matthew met at the beginning of freshman year, and they went running and went to the gym together. It was through Matthew that Steve and Adam met. Steve is a nice guy, and he tolerated Adam, whereas many people just shunned him. As a result of this, Adam considers Steve a good friend. Steve is also studying engineering, so Adam bothers him with questions frequently. Kevin is Adam's roommate from freshman year. They were randomly assigned to live together. Over time, Kevin and Steve became friends too because they had classes together. But while Steve tolerated Adam's presence, Kevin openly disliked him. And after they moved out, Kevin refused to talk to them at all. Jack is another person Adam considered a friend. He and Adam met because they had classes together. He made the same mistake that Steve did and tolerated Adam just enough to make Adam consider him a friend. When Steve wasn't available, Adam turned his annoying attention to Jack. First, Adam is shockingly socially inept. Some people around the school theorize that he has mild autism. I'm not at all a psychologist, but I personally don't believe that he does. Adam is remarkably bad at interacting with other people for sure, but he has none of the other typical symptoms of autism. I believe he's just very strange and lives in his own bubble of reality. I should also note that although Adam is very creepy, I believe that he doesn't actually have any malicious intent. He's just awful at social interactions. Here's some highlights. Adam likes to take long walks late at night. Along these walks, if Adam sees someone he remotely knows, he will follow that person and bother them until they get where they are going. People, especially girls, are very uncomfortable having this creepy, smelly homunculus appear out of the darkness and follow them around. Adam is unable to comprehend when a group of people is splitting apart. One time, Adam was bothering a person named Nick. Nick was walking back to his dorm, and Adam followed him. Nick opened the door and said, "See you later, Adam," and walked into his room. Adam followed Nick into his room and continued bothering him. Nick had to say, "Get out of my room, Adam," before he got the hint. As an observant Jew, Adam gets all of his meals at the kosher counter in the cafeteria. Adam can be found standing at the kosher counter trying to have a conversation with the people working there, even though there are other people waiting in line and these people are trying to work. One time, Adam was in the library looking for a girl named Emily, who he said was his math tutor. He found Steve, and Adam asked Steve if he had seen Emily. Steve had no idea who Emily was and asked if Adam said what she looked like. The only description Adam provided Steve was that Emily was really hot, easily an 8.5, and she looked like a dancer. One time while with a group of people, a girl said that she was going to go back to her dorm. Adam called out to her, "You're walking back to your dorm alone at night? Have fun getting R." He meant it as a joke, but nobody laughed. And one time, Steve was sitting with several people at the university cafeteria. Adam approached him and, with no introduction, asked, "Did you blank any hot girls recently?" Steve looked confused for a second and just said, "Yes." Adam grinned. He said, "Nice," and then walked away. Speaking of girls, Adam really wants a girlfriend, but girls are repulsed by his smell, weirdness, creepiness. Adam asks out any girl he remotely knows, and they all say no. Adam keeps a list in a Google document of all of the girls who had rejected him. I know that it wasn't a hit list or anything like that, but it's still really creepy though. And remember how I mentioned Adam was Jewish? Well, here are some stories involving his religious views and views about Israel. Adam fully supports Israel and has a fierce hatred of Palestinians. On one occasion, he talked about how S before marriage is prohibited in Judaism, but it would be okay to have S with Palestinians because they don't count as people. Yes, he actually said that. Adam sometimes talks about how hot Israeli army women are and says that American army women are always really ugly. Adam visited Israel once, and he talks about it all the time. It might be interesting to hear about it. He just said it once, but he talks about it all the time. Adam said that he really wanted to move to Israel, and everyone encouraged him to do so, if for no other reason than that they wouldn't have to deal with him anymore. Matthew had been talking about moving to Israel all freshman year, and when the year was over, he actually did it. Adam was upset that A, he lost his one-year-old friend, B, Matthew was now redacted the hot Israel army women, and C, he was just plain jealous of Matthew for having accomplished something Adam wanted to do. As I mentioned, Adam and Kevin were roommates. Here are some things that happened while they lived together. According to Kevin, Adam showered every day. This was very strange considering his smell. Kevin's theory was that although Adam showered, he never washed the sheets, so when he laid in his bed, the smell absorbed back onto him. I don't know how much of that sense that makes, but it's a good theory as any, I suppose. On the topic of smell, Adam's room smelled awful. So much so that he failed the room checks the RAs did because of the pungent body odor. Adam said that the smell was not caused by him, but in fact caused by mold. This was obviously not true. Adam had a booby calendar on his wall, which he said his mom had given him when he went off to college. I really am not sure if this is true or not. Lying about your mom giving you a booby calendar is just weird, as your mom actually giving you a booby calendar. Oh, don't worry, trust me, some parents really can be that oblivious. Adam had a major crush on a girl named Sarah. He invited her over to his room, and she reluctantly agreed. Adam wanted Sarah to sit on his bed next to him, but she instead sat on Kevin's bed, while Kevin was sitting at his desk, and she refused to move to Adam's side of the room. Sarah later became Matthew's girlfriend, much to Adam's dismay. Kevin told the story of the one time Adam rolled over in the middle of the night, so he was facing away from Kevin's side of the room. Kevin saw a huge brown stain on the back of Adam's previously white underwear. Ew. Sophomore year, Adam was roommates with a guy named Jason. Halfway through the first semester, at a party in fact, Steve and Kevin talked with Jason and convinced him to get a new roommate. How Kevin lasted a whole year with Adam, we may never know. As part of the process, the resident director of the dorm called Steve to her office to talk to her about Adam. Steve told the RD about Adam's hygiene, social ineptitude, and the list. Jason found a new room to move to, and the school approved the move after talking to Steve. Jason didn't tell Adam that he was moving out, though. And one day, while Adam was in class, Jason, Kevin, Jack, and Steve carried all of Jason's stuff to his new dorm. Adam came back to suddenly he found that Jason was gone. Adam is also a pathological liar. There are many examples of him lying for no reason, but here are some of the strangest, most noticeable, and most ludicrous ones. Adam said that he worked at a Jewish summer camp in high school. This part I believed is true. Adam said that the camp had an issue with grizzly bears, so he and all the other counselors had to carry firearms to fend off the bears. There are only 4 states in the US that have grizzly bears: Alaska, Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. Adam's camp is nowhere near any of those states. Also, who would put a summer camp for kids in a place that has that many marauding bears? Adam went to Jewish school his whole time until he came to college. One day, he was talking about how he and a girl named Rachel used to sneak off of the school grounds so that he could do stuff with her and have other stuff with her. I have no idea if this is true, but Adam said that was the Judaism prohibits the S before marriage, but nowhere does it say that but is prohibited. As a result of this, Adam said eager Jewish teens go around having that constantly. The issue here was that no woman would ever let Adam's sweaty fingers anywhere near their lady parts. Never mind allowing him to put his stubby wiener in the butt. Adam said that his dad was the CFO of UPS. The CFO of UPS is a guy named Richard Peretz. He was certainly not Adam's father. When called about the BS, Adam changed his story so his dad works at UPS. That I find believable. One day, when someone commented on how sweaty he looked, Adam justified his sweating by saying that he had just finished running 6 miles. Adam gets out of breath walking up the stairs. Satan stands a better chance of having a snowball fight than Adam does making it 6 miles without kneeling over. There was a look of, "Get a load of this guy," around the group before Steve piped up. He said, "Adam, if we added up all of the running you've ever done in your life, it still wouldn't come to 6 miles. Adam insisted that he loved running, to which Steve offered to have Adam come running with him. Adam refused, citing some made-up excuse. Despite considering himself smart, Adam is not doing very well in his engineering class. And in addition to having an actual tutor provided to him by the school, Adam harassed Steve and Jack to tutor him. Despite the fact that Adam was willing to pay, Steve and Jack eventually decided that it wasn't worth it. Adam got more desperate. I will provide a text message that Adam and Steve to which shared around with everyone well, and you can find it here. Feel free to pause. There were several notable events involving tutoring. During freshman year, Adam managed to get into Steve's dorm and went to ask him a question. Adam put his laptop on Steve's bed. Steve knelt down to see what Adam was showing him. This put Steve at nose level with Adam's nether regions, giving him a face full of Adam's signature stench. Steve recoiled and instead suggested that they go to the library to work on it. On a different occasion, Adam got into Jack's dorm building and went to ask him a question. Adam knocked on Jack's door, but Jack realized who it was and didn't answer. Adam then attempted to pick the lock with a mechanical pencil. A mechanical pencil! But here's the real kicker. The door wasn't locked. There was nothing stopping Adam from just opening it. When Adam was tutored by either Steve or Jack, he liked to derail the conversation by talking about Israel. Steve said that on one occasion, he had been with Adam for 2 hours, half of which was taken up by Adam's rambling. Adam had no issue paying Steve for the full 2 hours, as it was not his money, it was his parents' money. There are countless stories of Adam that are worth remembering, but I hope that I've been able to hit the high points. Thankfully, due to the virus's restrictions, people haven't been seeing nearly as much of him recently. But that is unless they have an in-person class with him. Like I said, this is still going on, so if there's more notable stories about Adam, I'll be sure to make another post. Until then, goodbye, and thank you for reading. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm fairly certain every college campus has at least one person like them, so, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to try to avoid them. One of the reasons I'm very much a fan of online courses. That and because I can control F through myself through my own exams, because looking stuff up in a book and remembering is very hard, but control F and then typing in the thing that will give me the answer very much is not. Legbeard showed up to our high school reunion. So I knew this girl in high school. She was always an odd one. Way too obsessed with anime, to the point that she would use kun and chan to refer to people despite not being the slightest bit Japanese. And would insult people she didn't like with baka. On top of that, she would always try to show off how much smarter she was than everyone, and that the only reason she wasn't performing well in school was because the classes were too simple for her, and she wasn't properly stimulated. But she never qualified for the AP classes, or even attempted to try out for them. So her grades were not the best. In my high school, everyone could sign up for advanced placement classes or college-level courses as long as they kept their grades in the class up. But she never even tried to get in, despite it being easy to get in. Well, after graduation, she moved in with a guy that she had met on the internet when she was 13 on MySpace. And we never heard from her. Everybody went their own ways. Me, personally, I graduated college and went to the military. And now I work a nice job, and I have my own life, and I'm working on all of my other goals. Well, I get word that my high school reunion is coming up. I thought it was weird because it had only been 8 years, and I thought they were only supposed to take place every 10 years. Either way, I decided to go, and I say going on Facebook. I decided to look at who all is going, and I noticed that there is one anime profile picture there with a name I don't recognize because it's in Japanese. I didn't think much of it, so I just got ready to go to the reunion in a week. Now, I was a scrawny kid in high school, and I regret to say I was one of those who believed he was an intellectual because I did advanced placement classes and I thought jocks were stupid. But as I got older, I realized it was stupid of me to neglect my body. So I took up weight training and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I've absolutely loved it. Combine that with the fact that I'm learning and still reading books, I'm well adjusted in life. So I go to my reunion, and I noticed I'm making friends with people I hated in high school, and we've all adjusted well in life, except for one. Because when I look over, I see Legbeard. And she hasn't really changed a lot, except that she cut her hair into a bastardized pixie cut, colored puke green, and she put on a lot of weight. But the thing I notice is that she is wearing a vest with a ton of buttons on it, like Eat the Rich, Abolish US, as well as a hammer and sickle pin. Now, already, I decide not to talk to her, but she walks over to me because she recognized me. Now, I never really talked to her, but she thought we were on the same side because I was also a loner at school who thought that he was an intellectual. The next thing I know, she's complaining about how everyone here is a baka and a loser, and how they'll never get anywhere in life. Now, okay, I can handle venting, but then she starts criticizing my life choices. She said the reason I joined the army was because I couldn't get into college. But then I told her I actually had my bachelor's degree, and then she got mad at the fact that I didn't tell her that first. But I pointed out that I hadn't even mentioned anything to her yet, and she said she stalked my Instagram and found info. Now, that creeped me out. But the worst part was she starts complaining about how her life sucks in this oppressive system because she dropped out of her community college courses and now she is stuck working at a Wendy's part-time. And she can't make enough to afford a house or a car. And that she's trying to move to Canada because then she said life will get better for her once she leaves the United States. Next thing I know, she starts yelling at me for being a pawn of the system because I'm enjoying life and not having issues, and that I'm insulting her because she is doing bad in life, which is far from the truth. I didn't even know what she was doing with her life until she told me. And on top of that, there is nothing I love more than a good story about overcoming adversity from humble beginnings. But she spent more of her time bashing me and my life choices, and it was getting annoying. Then, to make matters worse, she starts screaming in the middle of the cafeteria we're in. We had our high school reunion at our high school. She starts calling everyone a bunch of bakas and that we'll all be out of a job as soon as the revolution comes. Which, I don't know what kind of revolution she means, but she storms out of the cafeteria and leaves. And we all go back to chatting like nothing ever happened. The sad part is, despite her being rude and condescending, I feel bad for her. She obviously had some issues that didn't get addressed. And she obviously is feeling hatred because her life sucks. But it doesn't give her excuse to be an a-hole, but I do pity her. I kind of feel like I've known at least one or two people like this back when I was in high school, and recently I had some kind of announcement come up that it's already been 10 years, and first off, I feel old, I don't like that, and I know that there are people that are older, and I don't want y'all gatekeeping that, because yes, I know I'm gonna get there one day, I just have to frickin' wait it out. But yeah, no, there are sometimes you get along with people in high school afterwards, but unfortunately also on the other side of that dynamic, there's people who just straight up don't change, or just peak in high school. And unfortunately, that turns into some weird experiences down the road like this. I can get that life can very much suck at times, but just because you happen to be talking with somebody who happened to have done stuff differently and is living a better quality of life, that doesn't give you any type of justification to bash them for it. Especially if your situation is the result of your choices. Like, you did that to yourself. You can't just expect to complain about things until things are better. It just comes off as immensely immature that way. Discord Neckbeard acts creepy towards a 13-year-old kid. This happened a few months ago when I was still 13. I was an AnimeTuber Discord server. It was pretty fun there because people were kind to me and never acted inappropriate towards me or other members who were minors. But not until I posted a cosplay of my Asuka Langley Soryu cosplay on the chat dedicated to cosplay. I didn't expose my face, and I covered it with my phone intentionally. People were complimenting it and said it looked cute, even if it was kinda low quality, but nothing creepy. A few days after, a guy who I'll call A replied and said something along the lines of, You surely are a cutie. I bet tons of guys simp over you. I just sort of shrugged it off and playfully replied with a simp emote. We just laughed it off and moved on. But a few moments later, a messaged me, I'm no simp, but you really are cute though. So again, I just laughed it off and thanked A. Nothing more than that, but I had a feeling that A was trying to hit on me, so I said that I still had school and had to go. A asked if I was in college, so I sternly said, no, I am not in college. I am in grade 8, middle school. A replied with sort of an amused, oh, so you're probably 12 to 13, right? You really are a lolly. At this point, it just made me really uncomfortable, so I kind of made it clear that I did not want to be called that. Our conversation just ended there. But not until a few days of A tormenting me again and calling me a lolly. It just annoyed me, so I changed my bio and profile picture. My bio said, no, I'm not a lolly, you just have crippling that addiction. At that time, in general chat, I was lurking where members were talking about dojins, and kinda joined in, but never explicitly said that I read and enjoyed them. After that, other members were also talking and chatting about heights. I shared mine, and some of them cracked some jokes about it. I didn't really care, because they didn't mean them, so I just moved on from it. A noticed my bio and messaged me, somewhere along the lines of, oh, so you know what those are? I thought you were an innocent lolly. It really ticked me off, and I said, everyone knows what those are, and I don't live under a rock. I laughed it off and made jokes about my height, all the disgusting lolly stuff. I don't care much about my height, but people like A just bring it up all the time. I still kept talking to this dude because I felt bad. I didn't want people to hate me or think that I was rude. It came to the point where I just spilled everything that was on my mind. That I didn't feel comfortable being called a lolly because I associate it with that material, and it was weird to call a real kid that. A apologized to me, but still stood his ground upon the use of lolly. He said he didn't know that teasing about height really made me upset, and he was still going to use the word lolly on real people. As compensation, A sent me animal pictures. At that point, I just did not want to make a bigger fuss, so I just accepted it. A never tried to pull some stuff like that to me again. He was inactive for a few months, and when he came back, he was being creepy again. He was so fixated by the being pure and innocent part, and would constantly bring up when members were talking about slightly mature things, and while I was lurking, never kept his promise, and still called me a lolly. I just ignored A for a while, but ultimately blocked him when a mod asked me if A was communicating with me through DMs. I said yes, but it was before. Mod told me that I should avoid him because A was being creepy to other members who were minors. I was kinda shocked, so I told the mod about the stuff that he did, and sent them screenshots of our conversations. Mod was very disgusted, but at the same time I was so confused why they didn't ban A sooner. I am thankful to my friends who reported A's account, and even cut off ties with them when they found out what A did. I owe them a lot. Ultimately, I left the server and disabled my account. Soon after that, I made a new one, but I deleted it along with the old one. Discord really made my brain rot. Yeah, Discord can be a very weird place, so I'm very picky on what servers I decide to join, and really the only ones that I'm in are the ones that are relating to a specific content creator I happen to be following at the time, because I know that those people have a pretty good rules when it comes to like what is and is not allowed. But with that is going to have to be with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!